This is your one and only FireSpark81 with your daily dose of video goodness, and today we are taking a look at the brand new raids coming to Valheim in the Hildirs quest update. Let's get to it. There are 3 new raids coming to Valheim in the Hildirs request update, and those 3 new raids are based around Hildir and the mini bosses. Each time you beat one of the mini bosses, they will drop a chest. When you turn that into Hildir to expand her inventory, this activates the possibility to get one of these raids. If you beat the boss and you don't turn in the chest, you can pick it up, you can take it home, you can store it, do whatever you want. You will only get these raids put into rotation if you actually turn the chest into Hildir. So I did some testing to find out which biomes these raids could happen in, because if you're not familiar with the raid system, a lot of the other raids are biome specific. However, these raids are not. These raids can happen no matter what biome you are in. The other interesting thing about these raids is they are much shorter than your average raid, and they are much more difficult. They will consist of at least 1-star enemies and a mini boss. So let's break down each of these raids. First off, there is the one that correlates with the skeleton mini boss, and of course this is a skeleton raid. The text "she's hot on your tail" will show up on the screen. When that happens, you know that it is the mini boss raid. The first wave that shows up will consist of the boss, a rancid remains, and 2 other random skeleton types. Of course, like all of these, they're going to be at least 1-star or higher. The second wave that shows up will be 4 basic skeletons of any random type. So you shouldn't see any rancid remains, but you will get either melee or ranged normal skeletons that are at least 1-star. Next up, we have the Werewolf Raid, which corresponds to the werewolf mini boss. You will see the text on the screen that says "you get the chills." That lets you know that that is the mini boss raid. The first wave will consist of a cultist, 3 normal werewolves, and the mini boss. The second wave on this one will consist of at least 2 more werewolves. The next raid is the Goblin Raid, and this is going to be by far the most difficult of the raids. You will see the text show up on the screen, "they were bros, man." That lets you know it's the Goblin Raid. The first wave that shows up will be the boss, which is a 2-part boss. You have to defeat the berserker, and then you have to defeat the mage that is riding on the berserker. A normal berserker will also show up in the first wave, as well as 3 other random goblins. While the mage is on the back of this berserker, it is going to be shielding all of these goblins and tossing fireballs at you. So it's going to be a tough fight for sure. Then once you beat the first group, the second wave will show up, which will consist of 2 random goblins. Once again, they will be at least tier 1, so 1-star or higher. Each of these raids will have a little bit of some ranged attack units mixed in with them. Even the werewolves, the boss werewolf as well as the cultist, have a ranged attack while it is just a cone in front of them, so it is a bit short range compared to, say, skeleton archers. They all do have a bit of range. But due to the fact that none of these raids have any flying units in them, they are relatively easy to deal with, as you can see from the clips that I've been showing on the screen. If you just build the tiniest little bit of raised surface to build your base on, then you won't have any problems because they can't get to your base, and at most you're going to get a few ranged attacks onto your walls. Actually getting down and fighting these raids will pose a bit more of a challenge. If you do the skeleton one rather early game, that one can be a bit rough with all of those skeletons, including the rancid remains in the first wave, along with the boss, which has an AoE fire attack. The werewolf raid will include the boss and the cultist werewolf, which the boss will slow you down with a frozen cone attack, and the cultist will be lighting you on fire, and the other werewolves will be jumping on top of you. That one is going to be relatively rough. And as I stated before, with the last last raid, the Goblin Raid, that one is going to be the hardest of them all because you're going to have to dodge fireballs along with 2 separate berserkers and a mix of ranged and melee goblins. My advice to deal with all of these would be to use ranged attacks from the safety of your base and just run repairs on your damaged walls after the raid is over. I'm not a big fan of the raids currently because I don't feel like they have any real incentive to take part in them. In most cases in the past, I've just done everything I can to avoid them, except for the very early raids where you get the necks, because necktails are a great source of food early game. So that first 𝐈𝐴𝐻 raid, that one's always nice, but after that I tend to just try to avoid them as much as possible. Hopefully we see some change to the raids in the future, something that makes them a little more rewarding to do, because when this update comes out, I'll just be turning them off. If you do turn them off, you won't have to deal with these new raids at all. I do like that they added new raids into the game. I just wish they were a little bit more rewarding than what they are. Let me know what you all think about these raids down there in the comments section. That is going to wrap it up for this one. If you found this video helpful or informational, consider hitting the subscribe button and notification bell so you can be notified when I upload other Valheim videos. And if you're looking for some more Valheim content, you can find a link to another one of my videos on the screen right now. I want to give an absolute massive shout out and thank you to all of my channel supporters for helping to keep these videos sponsor free. You all are absolutely amazing people. If you would like to become an official channel supporter, check out the links in the description below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. If you're shy, you don't like to comment, just hit that thumbs up button and share your support. Until next time, thanks for watching.